Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Shalom. Today, na Sunday, number 15 day for this month of May 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Ambazonian Defense Forces Deputy Defense Chief, Anti-Kidnapping Czar. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where they bring una meaningful information for help we navigate this journey to our freedom, the independence of the former British Southern Cameroons, the independence of Ambazonia. Ladies and gentlemen, La République du Cameroon didn't get the biggest blow as with the ramp-up operation against the 20th May when a day of calamity, the day when La République if stop the experiment where they be done full we for engage in for try for bring union by constitutionality after them fail for implement the resolution 1808 where it be called for the creation of a confederacy between the two Cameroons, the Southern Cameroons and the French Cameroon. La République it be reject by voting against that resolution, and they be make their intention into action by trying to deceive and lure our people in a constitutional union instead for sign a union treaty. That project it be abandoned for 20th May when Paul Biya Bivondo it be decided in a fraudulent referendum where they be force our parliamentarians them into La République, their legislature, for get into a fraudulent vote for choose between we or yes. That 20th May na a day for calamity, na the day where an annexation it be transformed into a recolonization. We became a colonized people inside La République. The dismantling of our infrastructure, dismantling of our administration, our police force, it began swiftly after that. The Ambazonian Governing Council and our military wing, the ADF, it then be engaged in ramping up operation against La République of Cameroon, motivating other forces, as well as providing weaponry for more actions against La République. We then see the death of over 23 Cameroon military men within the space of 2 weeks as 20th May it came. The Ambazonian Defense Forces it then declare a one-day lockdown on 20th May itself. We call on all our population for stay at home come 20th May and for observe with prayers and for remembrance for this calamity way be before we for this day for 20th May 1972. For abroad, another thing that happened, the Honorable Joseph Wirba, the lion man from the great state of Bui, where he stand for the enemy's lion in the lion's den, speak inside the parliament of La République. Say when injustice becomes law, as the banning of the consortium, the policy of Mr. Paul Biya to wage a subjugation war against the people of Ambazonia, then resistance becomes the duty. One day in a wartime, we will fight not just for survivor, as the war it be also declared upon us. The ADF it be declare it be invoke the right of self-defense for launch self-defense activity where it then be transformed into a liberation war. We are at war. Honorable Wirba, he finally then come for German, as would be the expect, he then deliver a speech. Our expectation they be very high, as we know very well, since Honorable Wirba he be there for Ground Zero, he be appointed as the Vice President of the IG by Seseko Ayoktabi, something where Seseko he done talk repeatedly. Honorable Wirba he never ever publicly accept or acknowledge this, but since he come off for Ground Zero, he done call the IG the biggest mistake we would ever make him. He done call the IG saying that the access of evil for Ambazonian Liberation Movement. His speech for inside Germany, would you look forward for see way talk him. And in this presentation, we would like to highlight what Joseph Wirba he done talk for Germany.
Talk about where someone wants to sit, how he is dreaming of power and seeing him or herself as a certain thing in the imaginary country that was stolen 62 years ago. I disagree with you. I cannot do it. I cannot. So, here we are. Before any of them says anything, reflect. I am sure that a lot of people sitting here, if someone had 125,000 of their own, they would already consider themselves rich.
Honorable Joseph Wirba, he talked about the need for donate and to make the necessary sacrifices them way our generation in need for make sure say the next generation inherit an Ambazonia where it be under Cameroon control. We need for pass on to the next generation an independent country as we get the opportunity for Duam now.
Because if for 5 years they have continued the killings without any thought of saying no, we actually came into a union with these people. They don't deserve this. They have not found that in 5 years. And then you think we shouldn't be fighting? We should be.
So, Honorable Wirba,
standing up to them. And if we have to stand and get from 12% to 100, we have to think differently, act differently, behave differently, and shut our big mouths.
Honorable Wirba, he call out the people them with them feel say for fight war and a bad thing. He preach a good gospel, say we need for fight against Cameroon. We know fish down a country where they kill our people for 5 years. They never even get time for even stand for debate the issue where the war it go on for their parliament or for take any action for stop the war with a genuine faith. It should say no be people the way it be with them be reasonable and we need for stand up for fight against Cameroon.
There's something we send to you here. People who believe in freedom, because I've come here so that we start setting the foundation for liberation. And how do you set the foundation? You set the foundation by all of you sitting here, getting back to where you live. Count the number of Ambazonians who believe in this struggle around you. You people start with the formation of a revolutionary committee for liberation. Once you begin with something that is talking about revolution and liberation, you begin to pull in the people who will believe what you and I believe. You begin to bring them together because revolutions and liberation, they are always about the people. Once they are participating, actively participating, and taking part in that process, you will get to where you want. That's the foundation I've been crying about. Because we sit out here, somebody makes an announcement, people gather like you do, and they say, now, we have now formed the Ambazonian XYZ. We have now formed the Ambazonian ABC. That is not how it works. Because you are putting the roof before the foundation. Gather your people together by forming these committees. As you see at the back of that. Okay, good. As you can see.
So, Honorable Wirba, he still talk about the formation of the IG without mentioning the IG of people claiming mandate from the people. And he also talk about semi-people then go form Liberation Council. We now get very details on what we actually mean by that. It could be very impossible if Omango became the form Liberation Council. One would expect, or maybe he want to also preach about unity in terms of the liberation movements, the nationalist movement coming together to form a liberation council, like the council of the constituent member that forms CACUF. One would think in that manner. The attendance was not as expected in comparison with the publicity that was made, but this was a very wonderful occasion for Ambazonians to come together and listen to what the lion from the great state of Bui have for our people, and we'll continue to dissect what he has offered, and you continue to offer wisdom to our people. Our expectation, as we have presented me and Lucas Asu speaking as communicators from the Ambazonian Governing Council, was for the statesman to not just focus on criticizing the IG and the forming of the IG, but to try to support the war effort, which he did in terms of raising funds. We don't know how it will be spent, but we applaud that. Our expectation also was for him to talk about the need for collaboration by our forces and the rejection of the idea of forces to go and attack other forces or to deny other forces the right to exist. We hope that he would have brought in some sanity there. We also hope that he would have called for organizational collaboration and recognition of one and each other, and talk about the IG to abandon the whole concept of claiming exclusive right of state representation. Nevertheless, it was a wonderful thing each time Ambazonian they gathered together to see how they can help to liberate our homeland. We applaud him for that. God bless you all. Our subsequent episode on this will have a proper understanding from the Ambazonian Governing Council's officials and the cabinet members, so that our people who have been demanding a clear statement will at least have something to know about the thinking of the day within the Ambazonian Governing Council. The president is very busy with other engagement. Our people have to be assured that the Governing Council, the State Department, they are working very hard diplomatically to help Ambazonia to attain its goal that they have set in the beginning of the year. Our leader on the ground, General Efang, the military leader, have made a lot of progress in terms of the objective of this year. Many will come up. We'll continue to call on our people as we ramped up activities against Cameroon during this 20th May to remember that 20th May is a day of calamity once more, where we require and we demand everybody to stay home for the one-day lockdown we have called for 20th May. Capo Daniel, signing off.